What's up, Guardians? Peace and Grease here, and I knew we were going to get to this point. I just didn't know exactly when. And that is the human tendency to try and shift the blame onto something more tangible. For example, like you can't send a strongly worded email to the market or a billion-dollar company. So instead, shift the blame to a more tangible source so you can tell them directly. You're displeased with the state of whatever the product happens to be, in this case, Destiny 2. So the question becomes, is the Destiny 2 community responsible for the state of the game? Is the Destiny 2 community too harsh with Bungie? And finally, are content creators and streamers responsible for the state of the game? So before I dive into that, this is just some random footage of me farming red borders from the Last Wish raid using the lightweight sword glitch. Gold Tusk, I think, is what I used, or Quick Bang, which this is probably fixed by the time we get the update today. So, all right, moving on. You can watch it if you want or don't. It's up to you. Or just listen. So let's start with, is the Destiny 2 community to blame for the state of Destiny 2? Well, that sounds a lot like victim blaming to me, and that's not a phrase that I use very often. It's like blaming the fans for spectating a game, a football game. Well, it's the fans' fault. They don't have any control over what that football team does. Zero. There's nothing they can do. They're there to spectate and nothing but spectate. They have zero input on the decisions that team makes. So, obviously, no. The Destiny 2 community is not responsible for the state of Destiny 2. Okay. Well, is the Destiny 2 community too harsh with Bungie? Well, I'm going to answer that question with a question. If you're dating somebody and they lie to you consistently, at what point do you stop being a doormat and cut them out of your life? And let's be clear, you would be right for doing so. Now, I ask that question because if we ignore all of Bungie's past transgressions and we just look at the armor in Eververse, it seems like a simple thing. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's a non-issue, yada, yada, yada. I get where you're coming from there. But you do know this isn't the first time that Bungie has done this, right? The same exact thing. You do know this isn't the second time or the third time. I think Bungie has done this a total of 4 times. They've got busted, taking armor out of the game and putting it in Eververse. And then and only then do they make a public statement, something along the lines of, we put too much of an emphasis on Eververse, we're going to change that. Well, when? Because you did it before, and the time before that, and the time before that. So clearly Bungie has zero intention of stopping this type of behavior. The time to fix this would have been when you made the decision. If you rob a bank and then give the money back after you're busted, you don't get credit for that. You go to court, you're still going to jail, son. The court is not going to say, well, after you were busted, you gave the money back, so we're going to give you credit and you're free to go. You're going to jail, son. But yet we're supposed to give Bungie credit after they get busted for doing the wrong thing? Again, the time for them to have made that decision would have been before they committed the crime. Or in this case, remove the armor from the game and put it in Eververse. Multiple times now. They should have made the right choice to begin with. But they didn't. At this point, Bungie is an impetulant, spoiled brat of a child that needs to be put over someone's knee. Clearly, Bungie has shown they're not mature enough to make the right decision. They have no integrity because they don't make the right decision. It's clear that somebody has to hold them accountable because they do not hold themselves accountable. So the community has to do it. And let's be clear. This is no different than any other community. I don't care if we're talking about Call of Duty, Battlefield. It's the same exact way. They make the wrong decision. The community holds them accountable for that. And they either fix it or they don't. Most companies get one fuck up. And it's at that point, most people swear them off. Right? I mentioned this before, but look at the Keurig coffee brewers. Keurig got greedy. They wanted to make sure that people weren't using K-cups from another company. So what did they do? They put a scanner in their coffee makers. So if you tried to use a K-cup that wasn't one of theirs, it wouldn't brew you that cup of coffee. You know, the one thing you bought the brewer for. Punish the customer, not the companies that are doing the wrong thing. And now people have walked away, turned their back, and many people have sworn off ever owning anything Keurig related. And again, that was their choice. They should have made the right choice to begin with, but they didn't. But Bungie has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to make the right choice, but they never do. Look at the tower. The tower is a husk. It's a joke at this point. I was notified this week that, oh, you leveled up in Crucible. So what? I don't get anything. Shaxx is worthless. You might as well delete every NPC off the tower at this rate. You get 2 drops that you can choose from the armory from Zavala a week. And that's it. You think it's a coincidence that every NPC only gives you 200s? No. Bungie sat down. They made the decision. How can we make sure players don't benefit in any way, shape, or form? We want to control where they get the drops, and that's going to be the portal. They don't even get a drop at their level from an NPC on the tower because they could get the hurdle resource, like an unstable course, and we can't give them that opportunity to get the hurdle resource, so everyone drops everything at 200. And if you have more than one character, this hurdle resource is a gigantic middle finger, a gigantic fuck you to every player that runs more than one character. And Bungie made that choice. They could have made the right one, but they didn't. And you see this over and over and over and over again from Bungie. So, is the Destiny 2 community too harsh towards Bungie? No, but hell no. Somebody needs to hold them accountable. They're not mature enough. They lack the integrity to do it themselves. So the community has to. Now, are big content creators and streamers to blame for the state of Destiny 2? Okay. Look, I'm going to be real with you here. I have been critical of big content creators and streamers in the past. In fact, I still have those videos up from a couple years ago, particularly during the skill-based matchmaking debacle. Some big content creators and streamers, I'm not going to get into that whole drama, YouTube versus YouTuber bullshit. I'm just not. I don't have the time or patience for it. But very well-known big Destiny 2 content creators and streamers that you watch, that you know their names, ran an organized campaign to have skill-based matchmaking removed. Not to benefit the game, not to benefit the 95+% of players, but to benefit themselves. And they went to extreme lengths to do so. Telling lies like, well, chat, if we got rid of skill-based matchmaking, we get dedicated servers. Don't you want dedicated servers, chat? Yeah, it was a bold-faced lie. And yeah, they did that on stream and video. And they told lies like, don't you hate playing against laggy players? If we got rid of skill-based matchmaking, we'd have no more laggy players. Again, another bald-faced lie. Zero truth or reality to it. And that's what aggravated me the most. It wasn't that skill-based matchmaking was good or bad. It was that the Destiny 2 community was not given the opportunity to make up their own mind. Just like mainstream media, just like gaming journalists. They omitted information and details, twisted, manipulated, lied their ass off, and the Destiny 2 community went with it. And yes, again, you do know these big content creators and streamers. They're very well known in the Destiny 2 community, and you watch their content. Now, I don't think in my skill-based matchmaking videos I let anything slip, but I made those videos a few years ago, so I don't recall exactly. But the point is, you got to take the good with the bad. Have some big content creators and streamers done some fucked up stuff to the Destiny 2 community? Yes, absolutely. But whether you like it or not, some of these big content creators and streamers have had a positive influence on the game. And not just big content creators and streamers, even small content creators and streamers have had a positive impact on this game. Some of the features that you probably favorite came directly from content creators and streamers. Even my shitty little YouTube channel. For example, I made a couple of videos about how we need an exotic hand cannon that after getting so many kills, you get a shotgun blast. Well, then what do we get for Arms Week? We get a shotgun hand cannon. Not exactly what I was saying, but there you go. Daily and weekly challenges. Again, it wasn't exactly how I was saying it. Bungie unfortunately implemented it in a very parasitic manner, right? In the case of like Iron Banner, for example. But again, I could go on. Even small content creators and streamers, their input has a positive change on the game. You got to take the good with the bad here. And this isn't any different than any other game. It's not. And if you have an issue with the way that this works on all games, fine. You can have that. You can not like that. You can, or I should say, you can dislike that. That's fine. You're within your rights to do so, but stop acting as if somehow content creators or streamers are different in Destiny 2 than they are Call of Duty or Battlefield or Borderlands. They're not. They're the same everywhere. They do the same thing. And fun fact, content creators and streamers for Destiny 2 have been exactly the same when the game was successful at over 300,000 players as they are now when the game's failing at 20,000. They're the same. I remember back when we had 300,000 players, they were making videos about how content drought. They're not doing anything different than they normally would. Nothing. And the same thing goes for the Destiny 2 community. The Destiny 2 community held Bungie accountable for their piss poor decision making. They did that when the game was successful at 300K players. And they do the same thing now at 20K players. So stop acting as if they're somehow different. Stop acting as if, it's different for any other game. It's not. The only difference is whether or not the company continually makes piss poor decisions like Bungie. That's the only thing that's different. And if you really want to blame somebody for Bungie continually making the bad decision, look at the people that continually make excuses for them. Those Bungie zipper lickers are the ones to blame because they continually give Bungie a pass. They continually give Bungie credit. They continually allow Bungie to do this fucked up stuff and make these piss poor decisions. If everybody was united in holding Bungie accountable, this type of shit wouldn't happen. But here we are. And now people want to shift the blame to content creators and streamers. Now, again, if you want to have a discussion about who Bungie invites out to the studio, great, let's have that decision. Have that discussion. We can have that discussion. That would be a good one to have. But it doesn't have anything to do with this. So as much as it pains me to admit, even some of these big content creators and streamers during skill-based matchmaking, as much as I despise them for that, they have made positive changes on this game. They have. Anyway, so I just kind of wanted to be the voice of reason. People need to stop acting as if this is somehow different or it's somebody else's fault. And if you want the answer to that question, by the way, who's to blame for all of this? Crazy idea. Go with me here for a second. Maybe the company that made the product. I know, crazy talk, but it's true. This is Bungie's fault. 100% the ball is in their court. They're the ones that make the decision. They could choose to do the right thing, but oftentimes they don't. They make the wrong choice over and over and over and over again. That's who you hold accountable. Is it as satisfying? No, of course not. But I'm sick of hearing people say, well, content creators get lots of clicks from negative videos. Well, you know what else they get a lot of clicks on? Toxic positive videos. I should say toxic positivity videos. Nothing's wrong here. Everything's golden. Or people acting like 20,000 players is the same number as 300,000 players. They're not the same number. You need to go back to remedial math if you don't understand that. The game is struggling right now. Anybody with 2 brain cells, hell, you don't even need 2. You can see that very clearly. And unfortunately, the ball is in Bungie's court. Only they can make that decision. Will they make the right decision? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. But I got to be honest, I'm done giving them the benefit of the doubt. I've done it for too long. So feel free to let me know what you think down in the comment section below, or don't, whatever you're feeling. And until next time, peace out.